How are you, Pastor Sharpe?
I'm feeling well. How are you today?
I can't complain. Well, you know you out here going viral trying to save the people from themselves.
You know it's crazy, and I did not expect any of that. But
You didn't.
no, it happened. I'm trying to clean this real quick. Thank you.
But clean it. Well, clean it. So, yeah, sometimes when you have a basic word, that thing will preach more than anything else.
Well, you know what? It was actually a church announcement.
It was.
Black people make church announcements every Sunday.
Yeah, I know. I come from Black church. I understand. But here's the thing. Not only did you make the church announcement preach, you made sure that thing preached throughout everywhere. And it was timely because, as you know, your president yesterday decided that churches are essential businesses.
Right.
And that the doors of the church should be open. And I want to know what you have to say to that, Pastor Sharpe.
Well, I first want to say thank you for having me on. My wife.
You said first giving honor to God, who's the head of my life.
All that. You know how we do.
Yes.
I just want to thank God for letting me be here.
Yes, me too. We can start with prayer if we need to, because at the rate we going out here, we need it. We need it.
We need plenty of it.
We need a shut-in on IG.
We really do. A Tarian service.
Yes. Watch and pray.
That's it. It was disappointing to hear, but it wasn't shocking. And I made that comment last Sunday before any of this happened.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I was like, this is strange. I was just letting it be known because right here in Chicago, there was a little battle between pastors wanting to open, fighting the mayor, protesting even, saying it's time to open. So I was like, I don't know what anybody else is going to do. And to each his own. But as me and the church God
in my house.
That's right. I'm not going to bow to that because the people have to come first. And what's really interesting to me, Angela, is the fact that you have a president, no shade, or maybe
I don't have a president. My president left in 2017 in January. I ain't had one since.
Mine did too. So we're on the same boat then.
Okay.
So somebody's president is interested now in making church essential. I said, how is a person that doesn't go to church going to tell you to go to church? How
he don't even wash his hands.
Oh wow, and wear a mask or something, How is a person that tries to kick Muslim people out of the country all of a sudden is so concerned about mosque and imams? How is somebody who was asked, what's your favorite Bible scripture? And he said, it's personal. And I like 2 Corinthians. Bro, it ain't 2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians.
It's not.
He got 2 Corinthians for you. Not 1, 2.
For me, it is the highest level of hypocrisy. It is it's America. It's Childish Gambino's. This is America. And you can wear hashtag Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, White Lives. You wear whatever you want to. The truth is America moves by one color, and that's green. And so right now, they are interested in fulfilling and making sure the economy is strong and ignoring ethics, putting profit over people, putting finances over their flocks. And I think that there is a need, there's a thirst and a hunger for moral leadership. We need more.
Let me ask you this, Pastor Sharpe. Does this environment that we find ourselves in right now with coronavirus and like the disparities that I think we all see every time, or for whatever reason, the magnifying.
I lost you for a minute.
It was because my phone rang.
Okay, yeah, it happened.
The phone rang in my life. But I was just saying that where we find ourselves right now is in this space where it's like all of the disparities are coming to a head, and for the first time, for some folks, not us, they're seeing just how disproportionately impacted Black people are. Does this being on display in this way, does this make you say, like, I really need to get my flock super engaged politically? Does it make you, I think especially with the church announcement from the administration yesterday, after you just told him what it was, how does that make you want to engage? Do you feel like, I got to be apolitical, or I really need to engage and I want my folks to get engaged?
Well, I'm blessed to serve at a church that's always been politically engaged. So
Yeah.
shout out to Fellowship Chicago here in Chicago, Illinois, founded by the late Reverend Dr. Clay Evans. Reverend Clay Evans was the first to invite Dr. King to speak in the city when other leaders were saying, you better not invite him. Dr.
Wow.
Pastor Charles Jenkins, my predecessor, he was fighting and pushing for Uber and some other, companies to come that would aid in job creation in our city. So fellowship is like push. Reverend Jesse Jackson's push was
Yeah.
founded. It was founded in the basement of fellowship. So
I
there
did
is,
not know that.
oh yeah, there is no disconnection from church and politics.
Wow.
And even deeper, it's all right if I call you Angela. Is it all right?
Please call me Angela. Yeah.
I'll make
I've
sure you don't
never
need
even like growing up in church. I started going to Kojic church when I was 16, and when they
come
would say
on.
Sister Angela, I'd be like, please don't do that. So yes, please Angela.
Okay. No, Sister Angela. Sister Angela.
No.
All right. So when it comes to the Bible, you
Yeah.
will never read anything in the Bible that was not under some type of empirical oppression. The
Yeah.
empire, you have the Egyptian empire, you have the Assyrian, the Chaldean, the Babylonian, and then when Jesus shows up, he's navigating the Roman Empire. And so
Yeah.
now my church in the era that I'm leading in, I'm leading under the American Empire. And so
Yeah.
you can't be a Christian. You can't be an intelligent, woke pastor leading, especially in the African American community, and you have nothing to say to what's going on to the policies and the systems that affect our people. So I'm proud to say that Fellowship has always had its hand in the political arena of Chicago.
Yeah.
We've always tried to make sure we set up programs that aid in advocacy for our people. Yeah, I mean, we're called to it. It's who we are. It's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And
Do
so
you
and so
feel?
now
Go
and so
ahead. I'm
now
listening.
I mean, to directly answer your question, absolutely. And sometimes it's not about dropping a big rock in the lake and creating a big wave. Sometimes you got to throw your pebble and create a ripple and let God turn that ripple into a wave. But all of us have some work to do. Whether we're going to focus on children, domestic violence, whether you're going to focus on gentrification and redlining, whatever your
Mm-hmm.
piece, you got to do your piece and trust that God will extend it and expand it to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that one of the things I will say is I grew up in the house with an activist. My dad, Eddie Wright Jr. Shout out to Papa Wright, who is Baptist and an activist and an agitator, and was participated heavily in Reverend Jackson's '84 and '88 campaigns.
Okay.
So I grew up in a house where it was faith and politics. It wasn't either or. Faith and politics and advocacy for Black people. And then, when I started going to Kojic Church, which is going to take us right back to where we started on whether or not people should stay at home or walk by faith and walk into the church and without a mask and get coronavirus. But I didn't see the activism and the engagement around the advancement of Black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt disconnected from that for a time period. Not long, because Eddie Wright wasn't having that. But I'm curious to know, like, when you are struck with the balance of, do I put my physical body on the line for my spiritual health? Or am I a steward? Do I need to be a steward over both, right? Like, what is that balance, and how did you get there? Like, I have to imagine that you are not being in the house of the Lord, the physical house of the Lord. Like, tithes and offerings have to be impacted. So I want to know, like, what do you think is driving that? Do you think that people are making a selfish decision, and like saying, hey, I got to do what I got to do, the church got bills, we'll walk by faith and risk your life? Like, what is it?
I called one of my professors from Morehouse yesterday because I couldn't remember this word that he taught us. And I said, there's this word that means that you're supposed to do the best for the greatest amount of people. And I was like, what is that word? I couldn't remember. It's utilitarianism, where you do the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. And what's happening is people aren't moving with a utilitarian principle right now.
Yes.
And it is selfish. It is greed. It is worry or fear. And the truth is, for me, I can't speak for anybody else. We decided to find this balance in faith and wisdom. You can have faith, but that doesn't cancel wisdom. So
That's
we're
right.
going to hold on to our faith, and we're going to go into the virtual church, and we're going to have virtual Bible study, and we're going to have communion virtually. I've done a memorial service virtually. We have youth ministry and millennial ministry and marriage ministries. We're doing that virtually now on Zoom, because the reason why we stopped having church, I think the week that the NBA canceled on March 11th, when they canceled the season, the next day I said, we're not going back to church. Because if these multi-billion-dollar institutions and organizations could put their people first, why would the church be last in saying we're going to put people first? If any place should be saying, let's put people first, let's put, watch this, the health of our people first. It should be the church. And so I think sometimes we get so caught up in the esoteric, and we get so caught up in the soul that we forget we got to care for people's bodies too. We have to care for people's flesh in this world.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to laugh so bad. Somebody said he's an online God.
I'm an online God.
Somebody said that he's an online God instead of an on-time God. He's an online God.
No, that's real.
He's
that's
everywhere
real.
at the same time. So I just I think the one other thing that really struck me as powerful for you, again, thinking about this this blend and this careful merging of faith, activism, and our politics, you made it abundantly clear that you were going to treat Black lives as though they matter. And I've been saying this thing often about we're saying workers are essential, but we're not saying their survival is essential. And that is a conflict that is inescapable, especially when we're on the front lines like we've been since the Revolutionary War. Right? So the thing that struck me is like the power of you reclaiming our Black lives from the pulpit in a church announcement. Now that I know it's not it wasn't a sermon. But like, how was that hard for you at all? Were you like, okay, if they're going to treat NBA players as this valuable, if they're going to, create these protections for rich people, I got to do the same thing for my flock? Were you ever like in a conundrum about that, or were you just like, oh no, this is super clear to me?
No, it's been super clear since day one. And especially when I was looking to Capitol Hill to show some responsible leadership. And once again, I don't know why I might have been doing that. But when I saw that there was irresponsible leadership from the top, I kept saying, okay, so and it started early with this downplaying of the virus, acting like it really wasn't going to be that bad. And all the while cases are rising and rising. I was like, then all of a sudden we get the news that it will disproportionately affect Black people. So then I was like, hold on. So for me, if you're not going to open, and this is from my hometown, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm sure you can hear that Southern twang.
Yes.
I'm from Metro Atlanta, Lithonia, Georgia. I was so disappointed in the governor of Georgia. So you're going to open up the state, but the governor's mansion is still closed?
I love that too. When you said that, you were like, when it's open for tours, that's when we'll be open.
I mean, if you're not going to open up the White House for me to come visit and look at the spot where President Obama's picture should be hanging right now, if you're not going,
you better come on and preach that too.
Did you catch the subtle shade? Just subtly.
No, it wasn't as subtle as you thought it was. It's pretty.
Yeah, I'm like, until those spaces. And somebody asked me in an interview the other day, they were like, so when you said there, what did you mean? I said, there means the institutions that prioritize capitalism over people's well-being. Institutions that symbolize not just whiteness, but white supremacy, white privilege.
Yes.
So when those spaces open up, then I will feel like, okay, so now that y'all feel like it's safe for you all to re-enter the world and re-enter these spaces, then I will get an inkling that if the money folks are ready to move, who only care about money, All right, so now we might be ready.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And that may be, somebody may not agree with me, but my job is not to make anybody think like me. It's just to encourage people to think. We need
Well, I
people.
hope more people would think like you, especially the pastor. So if you could give a church announcement, or some encouragement, scripturally, to the pastors and to the church folks on here who are like, God got me. He ordered my steps to my congregation. I'm going. Coronavirus can't stop me, even though it stopped a lot of people, including pastors. What word would you give them, Pastor Sharpe?
Well, to all the pastors first that are moving in wisdom, shout out to you. Those women and men of God who are leading with wisdom, shout out to you. I'm not the only one. I'm representing as the Bible would say, a remnant of the Black church that does really care. And we're not all, every preacher that you see is not in this for the tithes and the offerings and to get a bigger car and nice suits. Some of us really are committed to making sure that at the best we can to care for the people. So to those people, I say thank you and we love you. And to the pastors on the other side, I would say the job of every pastor. I got this from Dr. Freddie Haynes in Dallas. Shout out to my big
Love
brother.
Him.
Oh,
Dr.
listen,
Haynes.
it's hard to find somebody more woke than him.
Woo!
So he said the job of the shepherd is not just to feed the sheep, it's to fight the wolves. And so when you tell your congregation and encourage your congregation to stay home, tune in on the conference call, tune in on the Zoom, tune in on Facebook Live. I don't care how bootleg church looks. If they are telling you to stay home, it is because that they are fighting for your life. If you can't stay 6 feet apart, you're going to end up probably 6 feet under. It's that simple.
Say it again. Say it again, because we slow in the back. The connection might have went out. Say it one more time.
We have to stay 6 feet apart so we don't have to put you 6 feet under. We have to move in wisdom. Stay apart so you ain't got to go under. Come on.
And so that's the best sign language I got. I'm sorry, y'all. That's all I got. That's it. This could be a whole shirt or a GIF. That's how we doing.
And it's just that simple. And the truth is, when the people feel and sense that we care about them, they will support you. Because earlier you said tithes and offerings have to be affected. The truth is, I'm so blessed. And I know this in the story for every church, but our church has been moving fine. We have
that is blessed. Great.
We were able to raise on Easter weekend. I was so proud of this. I told them, let's raise 10 grand to send to the food depository because they were threatening running out because of greed and hoarding in our city. And so I was like, well, let's send 10 grand. Do you know in 2 days, we were already over 10 grand. And on Sunday, on Easter, we were able to raise 20 grand to send to the Chicago Food Depository. And when I met with the one of the representatives of the company, I said, I want these funds to specifically help the Black and brown communities on the south and west sides of our city. I mean, I love everybody, but I'm like, I know. But see, I know the disparities.
And for those of y'all who not church, I wasn't slapping at him. That's like you go ahead. It's like an amen.
That's right. Everybody.
It's some white people in here that grew up Presbyterian or whatever. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about this. But that means
you don't know nothing about that.
And you have to make the ugly face when you do it, or else it's not effective. Forget. That's right.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and I know that you have things to do. I want people to know that since we are definitely becoming more of a church without walls online, I want folks to know where they can find you. I'm gonna post this live in my feed, and I want to make sure you send me whether it's a Cash App or it's the donation page, whatever, because that's the other thing, Pastor Sharpe, and I know you know this. I believe that the Bible we read describes the life of a Jesus who is preaching a social justice gospel. And you just doubled down on that. Did I lose you? No, I didn't lose you. Okay. When you just doubled down on that, when you talked about donating to the food pantry and like giving back, and even if you all are in a position where things might not have been as great as they could have been, you're still finding ways to pour into a community, whether they go to your church or not. That is the kind of church, sir, right, that we should be supporting. It is what church is about. It's not about the building. It is about a way of living. It is about the type of existence and modeling behavior that says, I see you even though you feel invisible. I hear you even though you think you have no voice. I'm going to take care of you when you don't have the means to do it yourself. We want to support you. So I want to just affirm that publicly to you and let you know, like, we see you. This is exactly what the church should be doing. I'm going to find some stuff politically for you to get engaged in.
Come on. I would love to serve.
Yes.
And I want to say this for the record.
Yeah.
My wife is one of your biggest fans.
Where's she at?
She is in the other room. Bree, if
come on, wife.
Bree, come in here and stick your head in so you can meet Angela Wright. Listen, you're a superhero in our city. I have members of my church on my staff who was like, I can't wait. We get to meet Angela Wright. And I was like, yeah, we do.
Hey, tell them, seriously, and for you, if you do anything for the church that I can come, even if it's for the young people who just graduated, whatever it is. Hello, First Lady. Oh, look, y'all, she's gorgeous. How you doing?
Hi, Angela.
Are you a co-pastor or First Lady? I should have done it.
We're not doing no co-pastor.
Okay. She said, no, that's not my co-pastor.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. It's so good to meet you.
It's good to meet you. This has been such a privilege, and it's dope to be talking to people who are doing the work of the church without having to confine people in spaces where they can go under. Like, that's the whole word for the day. But I want to be supportive of you also. If I can ever do anything, please let me know. I'll make sure that Sierra, I'll make sure you guys have my cell. So just let me know I can be helpful. Somebody said y'all are a beautiful couple. Y'all are real cute. That's what people want you to know.
Thank you. Keep praying for us. But let me say this. When all of this is over, you have to come to fellowship.
Yes, come to
I'm coming.
You got to come and speak and just say whatever you want to say.
I will come. The only other church in Chicago where I've spoken is Father Flager's church.
Oh yeah, we love.
Now, I hate to throw shade at the end of such an eloquent sermon today, Pastor, but if I might say, if Father Flager told somebody they ain't black, he might actually mean it and know what he's talking about. See, he could go on Breakfast Club and tell somebody they ain't black. Then people be like, he got black kids. He got black kids.
Listen here. Now he is the blackest white man I've ever met, and
we're talking about by allyship, we know the tree by the fruit it bears. He bears all black everything, don't he?
And you know what James Cone would say? It's about consciousness anyway.
Yeah,
it's not about complexion. He has black consciousness. He is consciously black.
Yes, he is.
So we love Father Flager. Shout out to the city. There's so many.
Shout out to Father Flager, who I love. I gotta text him so he know that wasn't shade. I meant that authentically. If he told somebody they ain't black, which he wouldn't do,
never, because he's consciously
ever. This is my face. I've said enough. That thing has preached. I'm done. And somebody said Biden 2020. We know, but we want him to act right. So anyway, we love y'all. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Again, send me the link. I'm gonna put that in the feed. And if there's anything I can do, I mean that.
Well,
I mean that. And my best friend is in here. So my best friend is really like my personal preacher, Leonetta. She's talking about, come on, James Cone. That's somebody that y'all church people, for real church people know. I don't know that person, but I'm gonna look them up.
He's the father of Black liberation theology.
Oh, well, I should know him because I'm always talking about Black liberation. Let me look him up. I'm going to get in trouble with my best friend. Jesus, I should have texted y'all that on the side.
Let me say thank you again. We appreciate you being on the front lines fighting for your people. We see you. We thank God for you. And to anybody on here that wants to follow us, look up Fellowship Chicago. We're on Instagram at Fellowship Chicago. Go to fellowshipchicago.com. I'm preaching a sermon tomorrow entitled, I Said What I Said.
Yes! Oh! I'm going to be on that one. I said what I said.
Yeah, that's going to be the title.
Are you promoting it with the Nene GIF too?
No, I'm not going to do that, but I am.
Oh, you got to do that.
I'm going to
do that.
Yeah, you can do it.
I'm going to put it in my story. I'm ready for that. I'm tuning in for that.
Come on, Angela.
It's gonna be
I am. And let me just tell y'all, you know what time it is. We have heard the thing fully preached. The doors of the church are now open, but stay your butts at home.
That's it. That's the point. Stay home, stay safe.
Yes. Thank you all. Much love to you.
Thank you. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to meet you.
Likewise. Yes. Likewise. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Weren't they amazing, you guys? They were so good. I love that so much. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm going to go make some waffles because I promised I was going to do that. Y'all be good. I'm going to post about fellowship in my feed. If you haven't seen what Pastor Sharpe told y'all a couple of Sundays ago, definitely do that. I'm so grateful for this live this morning. It was the Saturday inspiration we need. Shout out to Sierra on my team that coordinated this, even though I was being difficult. That I needed that, Sierra. We love you, girl. Bye, you guys.